What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm out here in the shop again. I had something I wanted to share with you guys. It happened to me this past week. It hasn't been a really great week. I went and picked up a load and I made it all of about, probably 50 miles from my house and broke down on the side of the road. And I'm going to show you what caused all the issue, and if I'd have had a spare, it wouldn't have been an issue. I could have put it on in about 30 minutes and kept it going, but instead I had to get a ride home, leave my truck side the road, go have one made and put it on the next day, and then try to carry the load the next day. So not a good week at all because of a $100 part that if I'd have had in the truck wouldn't have been a big issue. So I'm going to share this with you guys. This right here. And some of you guys probably already know what this is by looking at it. This is the line that comes off of your air compressor and goes to your dryer. Most of them is all number 10 JIC fittings and braided steel line. This is the spare I made. I had 2 of these made. One of them is on the truck now. This is what they had on it beforehand. This was a piece of just normal hydraulic hose that come off the dryer, and it went up here. And this is supposed to be on top of your transmission bell housing here that was supposed to have been bolted up. And I guess whenever Volvo had the transmission out of this thing back several years ago, the previous owner had it there, and I seen the paperwork and everything, that they did not bolt this back up, or maybe the bolt fell out. I don't know, but this was not bolted up here where it should be, so it caused this line to rub in two. Now, it didn't rub completely in two like that. I cut that with a pair of side cutters on the side of the road because I was trying to figure out if I had a piece of hose or something that I could slide over here and clamp with hose clamps. I had a couple of hose clamps, and I really couldn't come up with anything. I was just trying to figure out how to get off the side of the road. But anyway, this comes on up, bolts to the side of the motor, and then it goes to the steel line that comes over here, and that's just a test port, really not needed. Bolts up to the compressor with this fitting here. This fitting here was seized on mine. I don't think that's really common. I think it was cross-threaded or something. Could not hardly get it loose. Finally got it loose with some 15-inch crescent wrenches. Got that off of there. This was not a common fitting. This is a number 16 O-ring boss to a number 10 JIC. That's not very common. So the guy at the hydraulic shop, he got a number 16 to a 3/4 pipe, and then went from 3/4 pipe to a number 10 JIC, so it made it a little longer, but that didn't matter in my application. Anyway, what I did was I just bypassed all of this and got a hose made like this right here, and this hose was 102 inches long and come all the way from the dryer all the way to the compressor up there in one single line. And I had him to make me a spare. He told me I didn't need a spare, that this hose was really good hose, this braided steel, and I should never have to change it. And while I hope he is correct, I know how my luck goes, so I got a spare. Now, I've been carrying a spare service hose for years, because if you have one of these break, you're also not going nowhere. Sometimes you can take the ends off of these if you break it here and cut them and shorten it and tighten it back up. But I even tried to adapt this because this is 1/2-inch pipe. I was trying to figure out if I could take this and screw it into my dryer, and which the fitting on my dryer was a 1/2-inch pipe to number 10 JIC. So I could have got that screwed in, but then on the engine side of it up here, there was nothing I could do with this number 16 O-ring boss thread and this number 10 JIC thread that's messed up. So there was really nothing I could do with that. So I was just sitting there. Luckily, my friend that I've been working on his tractor for, and it's got the yellow truck, he was actually behind me. He had, luckily enough, picked up a load on the same day, and he was back several miles behind me, and I called him on the phone and told him something just happened to my air compressor or something. I heard the line and asked him would he pull over on the exit and give me a hand for a minute and see what was going on. And anyway, with these lovely E-logs, you know how that goes. When you do that, you're wasting time. And we messed with it for a little bit, figured out there's nothing we can do. Had nobody to give me a ride back. And anyway, he decided he would just give me a ride home. and he would take his load the next day, and so that's what he wound up doing. So thanks to him for giving me a ride home, because there's not an Uber in the town that I broke down in, a small town, and didn't have anybody to come get me at the time. So he gave me a ride back, and I went and had this hose made the next day, went and put it on, and got him to swing back by my house and pick me up and took me back to my truck, and then we left again the next afternoon hauling the load. So hopefully this will keep you guys from running into the same thing. He has also had this problem on his Freightliner before, but he had a regular hydraulic hose on his, and it did not fail like mine failed all at once. His had a slow leak and started getting worse over about a week's time. So he had time, to realize there was a problem. He couldn't build air and get it fixed a little quicker. Mine, it just rubbed through, I guess, the steel braiding, and then that line ruptured all at once. And I could hear the air spewing from the compressor, and it was not building any air, and I wasn't going anywhere. So I hope this helps somebody out. Like I say, have you one of these made up. If you know your truck or whatever, have you one made up and carry as a spare, because one day you probably will be sitting on the side of the road because of this, if you have not already. So anyway, I have a tire to change here, another flat tire, and that's the reason I have my truck back in the shop. That tire there, I don't know what it's got in it. Still changing tires though. About every couple of weeks I seem to run over something in these darn lumber yards. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna get this tire changed. I hope this helps somebody out. We'll see you guys in the next video.